welcome to today's class. So, today we will be looking at the title of idea generation. So, we know that how an idea is really essential in order for the designer to come up with the solution. So, we will today look at some of the techniques that we adopt. So, few of them we have discussed in the previous classes, and today I will be discussing some more of them. So, one is the scamper technique. So, I discussed this briefly in one of the classes earlier. We'll take a little bit of an example and then take a look at how this scamper technique can be applied. So, here each of the letters stands for an essential function. So, S stands for substitute, C for combine, A for adapt, M for modify, P purpose, E eliminate, and R reverse. So, now with the problem that we have at hand, we can then look at each of these techniques individually, and then we can see that what all ideas can we come up with. So, for example, if we have to design, for example, say a toy for a child and which requires a transparent, maybe say window, there is a car with transparent windshield and windows, then we may want to substitute the glass which is there ideally in the automobiles which we have 1:1 scale. So, rather than glass, we may want to substitute with plastic because it also is transparent and will give the same kind of a look and feel, but it will ensure that safety is maintained for the child. So, next technique, which is combine, we may look at cell phones that have combined features wherein we have the calling facility, messaging facility, and others, as well as a camera. So, if you recall, in earlier times, we used to have a separate camera. We still do have separate cameras, and of course, they are much better in configuration and specifications. But the camera facility in the phone has also given a lot of accessibility in terms of carrying only one device when we are traveling and also traveling light. So, this is one of the techniques how the combine technique can be utilized. So, next is adapt. So, what can be added? Now, in our cars, for example, we have the facility of Wi-Fi which allows us to navigate our routes effectively. So, that is one example of how we can adapt. Then modify is where we may change in terms of minimizing, maximizing, or modifying in one of those ways. So, for example, we have sunglasses and we have the larger sunglasses for grown-ups, for adults, and we have smaller sunglasses for children. So, they help adapt with their body size and are convenient as well. Then put to other use is when we have one product and it is used for some other purpose. So, we saw that during pandemic, many items that were not essentially a mask were used as a mask. For example, bandanas were used as a mask. Even the tea filter, that material that is used for the mask. So, putting a product to other use. Next, we have eliminate or minimize. So, what can be removed or simplified? So, in our cars, where in earlier times there used to be a space for lighting cigarettes, a point wherein one could light cigarettes from. So, now we have a point for charging our phones and other devices while we are moving in the car. And finally, we have the reverse, re-engineer or rearrange. So, what can we flip or what can we swap in the product? So, now for example, in the fast food restaurants, they are rearranged. The typical, so for example, in a typical restaurant, we have first go, order, pay, and then you eat. So, that is one rearranging of the traditional style wherein one would eat first and then pay later. So, this is how the whole style of operating in the restaurant has been reversed. It has from paying later, now we are paying first and then having our meal. So, brainstorming we have discussed earlier, but I will just quickly again go over some definitions. So, now this is the textbook definition of brainstorming, which says conference technique of solving specific problems, amassing information, stimulating creative thinking, developing new ideas, etc. by unrestrained and spontaneous participation in discussion. And of course, we know that it is a divergent thinking technique. Now, this slide has an interesting visual representation of the different steps that are involved in the brainstorming process. So, we can see here that first we have an enforcer who sets the rules of the whole process, or we can call that person the facilitator or team leader in this case. And then time is set. Of course, it's a judgment free space. Ideas are clearly defined by the members, and all ideas are encouraged in this particular session. And of course, the time limit is maintained, which is set by the facilitator. And some design problems require mixed tactics. So, for example, brain dumping, brain writing. So, this diagram also is useful to visually understand the process, and one can recall also the steps faster. Now, reverse brainstorming. So, reverse brainstorming is a process which focuses on the idea of what causes the problem or how to achieve an opposite result of what is expected. Now, here we give more thought to the end goal rather than the start of the problem, and this gives thought to the outcome and predicts future possibilities and obstacles, and then the solution to these things is discussed, that what is to be avoided, and this is done in the team. So, now there are several steps which are there in this reverse brainstorming process. So, the first step is to identify the problem and define the problem. Of course, this we have seen that earlier also. We have seen that we start with identification of the problem and then we reverse the problem. So, rather than going for the next step, which is defining and then ideating, now we will reverse the problem here. So, rather than asking how can we solve this problem, we will ask that how can we make this problem worse. So, I will explain this with a small example also. We can also say that how can we make this problem worse, or we can also say that how can we achieve failure in this particular situation. And then of course we carry on with brainstorming our ideas. So again, we are familiar with the brainstorming session now. And then we will reverse the idea. So once we have the ideas have been generated, so now we will reverse those ideas and identify potential solutions or preventive measures, and finally we will evaluate them. So now let us understand this with the help of an example. So now if there is a company which wants to improve the customer experience in their e-commerce platform, so how will we start with the process here? So we will identify the problem. So we can say that how can we improve customer service in our e-commerce business. So this is a standard statement that one may begin with. It is neither too generalized, it's nor too restricted, it's somewhat neutral. And now we will reverse the problem by saying how can we make customer service worse. So we can also say, since we are looking at improving the satisfaction of the users, we may also frame this reverse sentence as how maybe what actions we may take in order to increase customer complaints and dissatisfaction. So this is further clarifying what we mean by the poor experience, that dissatisfaction, and also the customer complaints, because they're an integral part of the improvement that the service can incorporate. And every business looks for a positive feedback from the customer because it tells them that they're doing something right. And companies always try to avoid the complaints that have been submitted by customers or any kind of dissatisfaction that they have, because that maintains the customer base as well. So now that we have reversed this sentence or this what we are looking at, so now we will brainstorm ideas to worsen the problem. So we'll take a couple of examples here. So for example, respond to customer inquiries very slowly or not at all. So this is one way for failure, when we are not responding to the customer queries in time or not at all. Give inaccurate or incomplete answers to customer questions, and be rude or dismissive when talking to customers. So there are many other sentences that or problems we can come up with, ways in which the customer will be highly dissatisfied by the business. So the next step would be to reverse these ideas to find the solution. So where in the first instance we had said that respond to customer inquiries very slowly or not at all, now we'll reverse it and we will say ensure quick and efficient response times to customer inquiries. Initially, when we were finding ways to come up with faulty service, we said that give inaccurate and incomplete answers to customer inquiries. Now we will reverse this statement and say that provide accurate, detailed, and helpful answers to all questions asked by the customers. And the last example that we took, be rude and dismissive to the customers. And here we will now reverse it by saying train customer service staff to be polite, empathetic, and patient with the customers. So now we can see that when we know that what is it that we don't want in terms of the poor experience, now when we reverse it, so we are able to get more insights that what would really delight our customers and that would give them a better experience. So now finally, after we have the whole set of these statements, the ones which will lead the business to failure, and then we reverse all of them into positive statements. So now we will evaluate all the solutions that we have come up with. So we will be judging them based on the feasibility. How feasible are these ideas for implementation? Then on the next point of innovation, how innovative are our policies? So for example, for the customer service training that we are providing, so of course other platforms will also be having some customer care representative, and we have seen earlier in one of the lectures that how for a business to thrive they also need to see their competition, what is the competition doing and how can we improve ourselves. So of course each and every business has a customer care executive. So how can we have a better experience for our users? So how can we innovate there, for example? So some of the ideas that we are coming up with, can they lead us to tackle the problems of our consumer base in a more efficient manner, more competitive manner than our other business competitors? And finally, the impact. So what is the impact of this solution that we are coming up with? So for example, the third one, which is the consumer complaint representative. So now, is it more accessible? Is the consumer care executive giving more empathy, empathizing with the user and giving them the relevant solution also, so that the consumer feels welcomed and they would want to visit again? So these are some of the ways in which we will come up with these statements and then evaluate them. So boarding storming is another technique and I had very briefly discussed it in one of the previous lectures. So we will today also see a little bit more in detail and discuss with an example. So now this is a creative and interactive brainstorming technique that involves physically acting out scenarios or ideas to gain a deeper understanding of user experiences, design challenges or problem solving situations. So this is an immersive ideation method where creativity is facilitated through role playing and physical interaction using props, prototypes, and physical spaces. So, for example, if a body storming exercise needs to be done at an airport, so we want to look at the check in kiosk. That is what we want to design, which is going to be useful for all types of travelers who are visiting the airport. Now, for this particular activity to act out, because we have seen that it is to be done with the body itself, it's a physical immersive activity. So what the team will do is they will quickly try to replicate a kiosk. Of course it need not be of the same sophisticated level of as that of the airport, but one can use cardboard, some boxes and just create a kiosk. Now the team may want to take different types of user groups, because we know that different types of people will be visiting the airport. They may all not have the same type of physical characteristics or patterns. So the team may decide to go for three. So first is maybe somebody who's a office goer and who's in a rush, who wants to quickly check in and take a flight. The next may be an elderly person, somebody old. A third could be somebody in a wheelchair. So, in all these three different scenarios, now one of the participants will act like the first office going person, and he will come in a rush and try to figure out the instructions that are given, and then the team will see, the observers will see whether the person is able to accomplish all the steps in the given time or not. So, based on their observations, they may decide that some functions need to be made simpler, or there should be some way in which the frequent flyers should quickly go through this process and they are not spending so long in the kiosk, which is making them feel, you know, anxious, or they are not really delighted by the whole experience, or they're finding it cumbersome, or they're frustrated. Now, when the next person comes in as an elderly person, so they will ensure that they are walking slowly like an elderly person. They will try to portray how the elderly person behaves in person, and then they will find that the small font is difficult for them to read, or the buttons are not easy for them to click on, or there may be many other problems as well. And then the observer and the teams will note all these observations down, and finally they will help in creating the kiosk which is more accessible for these elderly people, who are then able to read the text better, and they are able to perform their functions also more efficiently. Now, the third group which will come, which is a person in a wheelchair. So, this person, when he enters the kiosk, he may find that the keyboard is very high up, he is not able to reach that keyboard. So, then the team may decide that the keyboard or the whole platform with the screen should be able to brought down to the level of the person who will be sitting in the wheelchair. So, they may also be able to access it. So, these are some of the ways in which the body storming exercise is conducted. So, now in this slide we can see the process, how it is done, the objectives that are there, wherein we have designers, users and the relevant stakeholders participate. And then after the observations, then the feedback is collected. So, one team may also want to include the actual stakeholders, and possibly once they have a prototype with them, and then get the insights of the actual stakeholders who are involved in this particular exercise. Now, rapid ideation, as the name suggests, is a way in which rapidly the ideas can be generated. So, this helps because it will allow one to first come up quickly with the ideas, lot of ideas, and the other is it will avoid for the designer to really get engrossed in their own designs. So, they will look at their designs more objectively rather than getting stuck on their design. So, these are some of the advantages of the rapid ideation. Now, here we can see that it's a brainstorming technique, and we have to generate large quantities of ideas here. And again, similar to brainstorming, we also have no criticizing policy here as well. All ideas are welcome. And we can see that other brainstorming techniques that use rapid ideation as part of the creative thinking processes are mind mapping, brain writing. We are familiar with these. Then crazy eights. So, this is where we sketch 8 ideas in 8 minutes. So, this helps in rapidly coming up with these ideas, 8 ideas. So, again, one is objectively working on it. And then round robin brainstorming, wherein the team sits around in a space, and then one person starts and the next person adds to it, and then so on. The entire team goes around and adds to the ideas that are being offered on a table. So, game storming is a set of ideation and problem solving methods that are gamified to dramatically increase levels of engagement, energy and collaboration during group sessions. So, we know how games can be a very fun exercise, it can be a fun activity to do. So, here this is a gamified, and this helps in the engagement, it makes it fun. Also, the as when we are playing a game, it doesn't seem like we are working. So, the energy levels are high and we are engaged in it. So, the similar fashion, the team is also maintaining their energy levels and everybody is engrossed in the activity. Now, crowdstorming is a process wherein the use of social media, customer surveys, focus groups, and co design workshops can be utilized in order to design with all the stakeholders that are involved, or we can call them the crowd storming. So, this is like a large number of people are involved in this particular process. So, one of the examples here that I can share is of NASA, where they started the no poop mission or something like that, wherein the crowds or people, the whole population was offered with this competition, wherein they had to come up with ideas and solutions that to tackle the problem of waste that is generated while the astronauts, while the team is in space in their aircraft, and especially during these long missions when they are out in space for many days or maybe even months. So all kinds of body waste is generated, which is a normal human process, and it becomes important that how do we take care of this waste, because the space is very constrained. We know that the space, the capsule is uh, very restricted, very optimized in size. So how do we take care of this? So a large level competition was floated, and then the population came back with their ideas. So this is an example of how the crowd can be also integrated in these big problems, and how they can also help, and maybe those ideas may seem that they are not practical, but the team actually may find them to be very useful, and they can always use maybe the scamper technique or other techniques to further develop on them to align them to their exact need. So the next method is cheat storming. So now, as the name suggests, cheat, which is cheating. So here we are again storming our brains, but we are cheating a little bit in terms of taking some of the ideas that are already there. So already there is a huge pool of ideas and solutions that is around us, which is working quite well. So in this method, we will be taking inspiration or using some of those existing methods. So that is why we call this the cheat storming. So now this is a process of cognitive sustainability, rousing and not wasting previously ideated material. So we are also ensuring that we are not doing the whole exercise from scratch, from zero again and again. But if there is something available to us, why not use it if it is serving our purpose? So here we look at the existing solutions that are there in similar or different domains, and then we either adapt or cheat to our design problem. So, like I said, not all problems require reinventing the wheel. We don't need to use all our resources, our manpower, everybody to just keep on coming up with these ideas all times. So, if something is existing which can be helpful for us, so why not use it? So, that is the philosophy of this particular idea. Now, let us discuss this with a small example. So, now there is a company which wants to come up with a new smart kitchen appliance that can make cooking easier for busy professionals. If this is the problem that is given to us, now what we'll do is we'll start by observing what is around us, what is available to us. So, we will see that, we'll see maybe that there's a smart fridge that is there. So, what the smart fridge does is it suggests the items that one needs to purchase based on what is available inside of it. Then next one may see that voice activated devices. So we have Alexa, where we can set timers, we can also play music, some entertainment while one is cooking. So that is a second idea which is already existing in terms of Alexa or other voice activated devices. And the third is meal kit delivery services. So these kind of services, they provide with the ingredients which are measured out to prepare that final dish that is going to be made from putting them all together. So now this is the first step of doing our survey, of finding out that what all different types of ideas are existing already, so that we may integrate them in our smart kitchen. And now in the next step, we will be modifying or combining them. So for example, the first idea could be to combine a smart fridge's ability to suggest recipes with a meal kit service model. So now this device will automatically order the ingredients and they will come as the meal kit, which is essentially all the items of that meal, they are proportioned, and so the user is also able to quickly put it together, and because it's a busy professional, so they quickly put it together, create the meal and have it. And the second is that adapt voice activated technology so users can control cooking appliances hands free. So for example, if they have to adjust the oven temperature, or they have to check the status of the food, so they can by voice they can just do these operations. They don't have to really utilize their hands for doing these activities. And the next is step is the generate ideas, because what we have done now is we've taken the existing ideas, but we still need to personalize them to the particular problem that we have at hand, so that they are very strategically applied to create this appliance which will be useful for these busy executives. So now when we are generating the ideas in the next step, step number 3, so here a voice activated cooking assistant that integrates with the appliance to suggest meals, set timers, and even adjust the cooking times or temperatures. So if for example, if it senses that the heat is quite high and the food is burning, so it will reduce the food. It may also have a stirring mechanism, maybe, or it may just turn it off when it feels the food is ready and give the beep sound for the person to come and fetch it. So these can be some ideas that the team may come up with. Then next step 4 will be the feasibility evaluation. So whether this is feasible, is it possible to come up with this kind of a device, and whether we have the technologies which are existing to do this. So like I said, it will also stir it, and maybe it will temperature regulation will also be done. So do we have that technology that can do that, or do we have to design this technology from zero? Innovation, that whether this is an innovative product. Of course the cost factor will also be there. If we are integrating so many of these things where technology may also have to be developed, so because they are innovative technologies, so what about the cost factor? So how will the user then evaluate it? So now these things we have to discuss while we are evaluating our ideas. So some ways in which cheat storming is a really important part of the process is that it puts off the pressure, because sometimes coming up with new innovative ideas can be very pressurizing for the team, and especially when there are too many projects or the one designers are multitasking, it can really put a lot of pressure, and that pressure may lead to also not coming up with very innovative ideas. So this is a very interesting way to put this pressure off and looking into the existing that is available to us and coming up with more innovative ideas in the process. Also cross industry inspiration, because we are borrowing the ideas from other industries. We may not have come up with those particular solutions like the voice activated Alexa, but we are sort of collaborating or borrowing from the industry, so it is creating that cross industry partnership it is giving rise to. And then quick idea generation, because here we are using the cheat method, we are taking the existing ideas, so this is a quick method of coming up with the solutions. So today we saw a few idea generating methods, and we will stop the class here today, and I will see you all in the next class. Thank you.